Here we're going to create some artwork for our 3D book, and it really is pretty simple to do in any version of Photoshop or Photoshop Elements, but maybe I can offer a tip or two. Let's start with the main cover. Let's go to File, New, and we're going to create a new canvas. The height we require is 180 pixels, and the width we require is just half of that 1920, so 960, 1080. And this obviously remembered the values from when I created it previously to make the videos. The resolution is irrelevant. We can just click Create. So there's one half of our book. If we're going to use this as a cover, we can either add colour ourselves using our colour pickers. So if we wanted to try to recreate a dark leather book, red leather perhaps, I'm going to flood this with Alt backspace. I could possibly go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and add maybe 4 or 5% of noise, and I could add a texture as well. So if I wanted to go to Filter, let's go to Texture, Texturizer. We'll keep this fairly simple again. Let's go to something we all recognize, Canvas. A nice wide canvas, 200 scaling. I think the relief here is rather heavy, so we'll drop this down to even 2, and when I click OK, you can see that wouldn't make a bad cover for a book. But if you want to go searching through Google and see if you can find a genuine book cover so you can actually superimpose that over here, well then that's not too difficult either. To give you a quick demonstration of that, here's a cover I found on the internet, but you can always photograph an old book if that's what you wish to do. Pick up my Move tool, drag this from the top of the screen, click drag and drop into the artwork because I know the artwork is the correct size. This isn't quite correct, but given it's an old book, I'm going to be quite happy to adjust it. I'm going to use my free transform tool, so Edit, Free Transform, and I'll just use these toggles to jiggle this into a position that I feel is looking okay. Given that it's an old book, I don't think we need to be overly fussy, but there, if we wanted to use that, it didn't take very long at all. And if I just go back to my layers for the moment and just remove this one, what we could do is add a bit of a bevel along the edge. If I remove that lock for the moment and go to my effects and choose Bevel and Emboss, you can see if you look along the edge, if I make the size about 5, you can see a nice bevel appears around the outer edge. And I could even do that with this one here, simply by recreating it or dragging it on. It just gives a little bit of shape to our front cover. But assuming we made our own cover, this one here, then all we'd need to do is File, Save As, and locate where you're going to save them. I just created a folder which I called Creating Book Artwork. So this one would be my front cover, and I can always save it twice to produce the rear cover. We only need a JPEG saved at level 6. To create the pages, we can go to File, New once again. Over here, the height we need 1050. So we've got 30 pixels in height reduction, 15 at the top, 15 at the bottom. And we need the same thing here. So this needs to be 945. Although you can add all sorts of colors and textures to your pages, if you're just starting off making a book, then it may be a good idea to just stay with white as your choice until you get a feel for things. Remember, you can always overwrite these a little bit later. So I'm going to create that, and partly personal, but I like to put a thin line around the edge of my pages. It helps me to pick out the edge, I think, and I like to see a line down the center because you do expect to see a line down the center of a book. And if you want to do that, Control A will select the entire document, Edit, Stroke. All we need is 1 pixel in black on the inside of this line, and click OK. Now we can save this as a page. Again, JPEG, and again we don't need anything more than level 6. Let's take a look in Photoshop's bridge here, because there we have our front cover. So if we wanted to make a back cover, we can do a Control C, Control V, and just rename this. But here's a tip with the pages. What I'm going to do is to make a series of copies. So highlight the pages, which is, we can call that, I suppose, our default. Hit Control C to copy that to the clipboard, and then I'm going to hit Control V. Well, how many pages do we need numbered? Probably 6 or 8. Let's just go for 6 to demonstrate what we want. Control V once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to select all of those. I'll keep this one up my sleeve. Right click, and I'm going to batch rename them. I'm going to use a sequence number. We've got lots of options here, but sequence number is probably best. Starting with number 1, and 3 digits will do it for me. While they're highlighted, I'm going to hit the Enter key to open those all up into Photoshop. Now the reason I've opened these up again is because I want to number them to make putting together the book a bit easier. You can see number 6 is the one that I've currently got on screen. So if I pick up black and a brush, you can use the text tool if you want to be a little bit neater, but I'm quite happy most of the time to do something like that. And when I close this down, it's going to say, do I want to save it? Yes, I do, which takes me to 5. Close down and save, 4, close down and save, and so on and so on. I want to go down to number 1 though, because don't just put 1 like that. You need to be able to see which way round it is. So make it a proper 1. And once we've done that, we go back into the Photoshop's bridge. There we've got our covers. We've got a page that we can always copy from and add textures or colours to, and then all we've got to do is overwrite these in our slideshow, and we've got our book done.